I'm going to show you how to make a removable pull starter for your RC style motor. Basically, it's a post with O-ring on it that allows you to slip the pull starter on and pull it off. If it'll focus, you'll see there it is. So this is one I've taken off. There's a bit of CA thread lock on the bottom there, but that's basically what it is. So I'll show you. So normally you have an M4 bolt in your pull starter, and what this thing does, there's a little bit of resistance there and it just pops through, and that's enough. See, it doesn't go through. That's enough to hold your pull starter in place. Now you need that for all four corners, and I'll show you how I made that. So you need a suitable O-ring. The O-ring that I use is actually a 2mm diameter. Let's see if I can measure this for you. It's actually, you have to be very careful, it's 2mm diameter, and it's about 1.5mm thick, which makes it about 5mm on the outside. Okay, I found this O-ring works quite well. Now the next thing you need to do is actually cut a groove into your, this is an M4 grub screw. This one is 25mm long. You don't actually need it quite that long, but I like to have the extra length there so that there's a bit of thread there for the thread lock to work on. So what you need to do is you need to ideally cut a groove. Now if you have a lathe, that's the best way to do it. I'll just show you this. So you need to cut a groove. That bottom diameter needs to be less than 2mm, just under 2mm, and the width needs to be slightly wider than the width of your O-ring. So I'd aim for about 1.6, 1.7mm. The other trick is to make sure that you cut the groove far enough down so you don't cut into the top of your grub screw hole. Otherwise it'll be a very weak bolt, and I'll show you what happens when that happens. So this is what happens when you don't cut it down far enough. So I cut that one a bit too far up, and it actually came into the hole there. Now if you don't have a lathe, you can still do this. It just won't be as nice. I've done one with a Dremel tool. I'll show you that. So this one was done with a Dremel tool. And the way I did it, let's see if it'll focus. Okay, not as nice. What you can do, if you chuck this up in a cordless drill, if you chuck the grub screw in a cordless drill, you'll get a better result than I did. And just hold this one still, and you'll be able to cut a groove. Not as nice, but it'll work. And what you want, I'll bring this one back again. You want this O-ring to sit in there quite loosely. It needs to be able to turn. See there? And you also need to have a bit of side play. It's quite important, or else it's very tight and you'll have a lot of trouble getting your pull starter off. Okay, so once you've done all four, you can now go and install it on the motor, and I'll show you how it all works. Okay, we've installed these posts that we machined up with the O-rings onto the bottom of the motor. Now, pretty self-explanatory. O-ring should give you some resistance, so you'll hear it snap when it goes in place. Now you want to check that it's not too loose, so if it's too loose there, all you do is adjust them down. This one here is a bit loose, so adjust it down. Now you don't want it too snug, you don't want it too tight. You just want it to hold so that when you pull start it, it doesn't come off. Okay, so it's a bit of trial and error. Now the other thing you'll need to do is you'll find it's actually quite difficult. Well, normally is quite difficult to get off. So I've put these cable ties in to be able to help you pull it off, so you can get your fingers off in underneath there. Now you'll find that initially it'll be very tight to get on and off. You might need a bit of lube, a bit of grease. It's a bit of hit and miss, a bit of fiddling around, a bit of mucking around, but also what I find is you have to maybe ream out the holes a bit, give it a bit of a chamfer, a bit of a lead in, especially on the bottom here, so the O-rings come through. And you also want to give the tops a bit of a chamfer, because you'll find that the O-rings can get cut up sometimes. Okay, so this one here has already been done, so I don't want to take any more out or else it'll be too loose. So you want to be a little bit tighter than a little bit loose. So okay, so that's how I do the pull start. And the nice thing about this is you save weight, but also you can position it any way you like. Okay. So that's how you make a removable pull start. It's a bit fiddly, a bit of trial and error, but if you get it right, they don't fall off in flight. But the old idea of it is to start your motor, take the pull starter off, and go fly. One thing I forgot to mention: once you dry fit up your pull start, removable pull start posts, you want to make sure that they don't come loose. So either you need to use some thread lock, or I like to use medium CA. So I'll pull these all the way out. I'll fill the hole with, I'll put some medium CA on the threads. I'll wind them down, put the pull starter on, get the heights right for my clearance. Then when I'm happy with it, I'll take it off and I'll put some kicker on the bottom of those bolts there, and it hardens up the CA and it holds those bolts in place quite nicely. I haven't had any come loose, so make sure you do that. If you don't do that, your posts will vibrate out.